Former Alberta Premier Ralph Klein has died at the age of 70. He passed away at a Calgary care centre surrounded by family and close friends. Klein had been suffering from dementia and complications from pneumonia. He is remembered as the man who slashed Alberta's debt. He did it by privatizing services and using oil revenues. Danielle Smith is the leader of Alberta's Wild Rose Party and the official opposition. She has called Ralph Klein one of the best provincial leaders in Canadian history and credits his fiscal policies for helping Alberta prosper. She joins us now by phone from High River, Alberta. So, Ms. Smith, what is it that you think makes him one of the best politicians this country's ever seen?
He really was a rare politician. When you think about the 1990s and the amount of debt that was being racked up by governments at all levels, for him to take a stand that he was going to eliminate the deficit, eliminate the debt, and do it all without raising taxes. That was revolutionary for the time. There have been other provincial premiers and even the federal government that followed suit after him, but he really made some incredibly tough decisions at a very difficult time, got the people behind him, was disciplined enough to follow through, made a few mistakes along the way, but was humble enough to admit it, and when he did, people loved him for it. I think he's going to have an incredible legacy, and he will be dearly missed.
What did you think of him personally?
I thought he was an amazing man. I remember even meeting up with him a couple of times after he'd left political office. One time he was just sitting having soup at a Chinese food restaurant just in one of the downtown shopping malls. Another time I saw him, I asked him how he felt about having left office, and he said, you know what, I miss the people. And that was the thing about Mr. Klein, is I think he was such an intuitive politician and such a loved politician because he would spend a lot of time chatting with regular people to find out what was on their mind and to find out how his policies were hitting them on a personal level. And if you made a mistake or floated a trial balloon that didn't go over well, he was prepared to change course. That I think is really the character of the man, and I think is one of the reasons why he was one of the very best politicians this country's ever seen.
And you know, it's interesting, as a politician, we talk about how a lot of politicians aren't quite as fearless as Ralph Klein was. Why do you think that is?
It's very true when you think about what he encountered at the time, because he did go into election saying we've got to make some tough decisions, and he faced some incredible opposition, some fierce criticism, but as he kept on saying we're going to do this, and as he kept his promises, and as he continued to charge forward, people realized that they could trust this man, that especially as well when there were ideas that didn't go over so well, for him to be able to say, we're not going to go that way, I made a mistake. I think that people understood that he was a person who was very strong-willed, very strong-minded, and would follow through if he felt it was the right thing to do, but also reasonable enough that he would change course if he felt that he didn't have the people behind him. And I think that kind of political leadership is an inspiration to those of us who are new to politics, and I think it's an inspiration to not just political leaders here in this province, but I think in the country.
What do you think Canadians have lost today?
I think they've lost a really rare politician, a man who came from humble beginnings and stayed the same person through all of the different successes he had in public life, whether he was mayor or cabinet minister or even premier or even his life afterwards, until his health ended up deteriorating. I think it's very sad that in his last years of life he wasn't able, because of his health, to provide an advisory role to his successors and an advisory role to other politicians, because he certainly would have had so much to offer. And I'm sad. It's a very sad day. I'm sad to see that he's gone.
Danielle Smith, good to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's Danielle Smith in High River, Alberta.